Yo, 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 people, how you doing? How you doing? It's nice to say hello. I've been keeping busy, not only reading your work, but at the same time doing a little reading on my own. I've been reading this book. It's called Pedro. It's about the life and legacy of Pedro Martinez, one of my favorite baseball players of all time. As you can see, he belonged to the Boston Red Sox. Boston Red Sox. All right. No Yankee, no. All right. It's about his life and his legacy as a baseball player and as a person. This guy was is a huge humanitarian. He gives a lot of his money to unfortunate people. So, it's very nice. It's very nice. I encourage you to read, man, not just the Netflix. Don't do the PlayStation only. Don't do the Netflix only. Don't do the movies only. Read. Feed that mind. Feed that mind. Okay, this week I had the need to actually step outside, but I used my protective gear. I used my surgical mask and my N95 mask. This is the famous N95 mask, and this mask, I've kept it since last year when I bought it to go to the Ricky Renuncia protest in the Viejo San Juan. Yes, I was there. Ask Jaisel. Okay, but anyways, if you need to step outside, keep protected, man. Keep protected. All right. Anyways, listen, guys. You guys did wonderful, as I said before. But I want you to keep track of certain terms that appeared on that documentary that you saw. Because if we do come back within the next week or so to CPS, I want you to be ready. There were certain terms that interest me, and it's very important for you to actually remember and define and keep fresh in your memory. The concept of the 13th Amendment, which you already know, the concept of a Southern strategy, Jim Crow laws, birth of a nation, which in your essays you guys were expressing your amazement at the fact that through the movies African Americans were portrayed as evil, as the worst, while whites were portrayed as victims and people that were wonderful. Okay, so this is an example of how film was used and mass media was used very early on in the 20th century to play into the national narrative of segregation and discrimination particularly throughout the South. Okay, I also want you to keep track of the Emmett Till story, the civil rights era concept, lynching, and mass incarceration. Okay, those are the terms that you need to keep fresh in your memory if we do come back, because I will be testing you on that. Okay, now this week we're going to take a little turn, a little detour, right? We're going to work on the U.S. economy. As you know, this COVID-19 situation has affected dramatically not only the U.S. economy, but also the world economy. As you know, the United States has a capitalist economy. It depends on supply and demand. It depends on private property. It's a capitalist nation. It's it's the biggest capitalist nation of all time in history. Okay, capitalism, as you know, is an economic system which we do have here in Puerto Rico on a smaller scale. But capitalism is an economic system in which private property is allowed, in which entrepreneurship is allowed. And it's basically the motor of the economy as compared to communism, which is the complete opposite. In communism, in countries such as Cuba, in countries such as North Korea, communism is very different. In communism, under a communist system, private property is not allowed. Okay, the means of production and services are owned by the state. Nobody is allowed private property. So you have two sides of the same coin. Economy on one side, capitalist, on the other side, communism. Okay, I want you to keep that in mind. But through this week's reading, you will see how the United States capitalist economy emerged and how throughout the years it became a global superpower. You will see in chapter 12 reading lesson number 1 and reading lesson number 3, you will see how it became strong, how it became the motor of the country, and how it eventually evolved into a major world economic system. Okay? So listen, I want you to go to chapter 12. I want you to do reading lesson number 1, and I want you to do reading lesson number 3. There are 4 reading lessons there, but I'm not too concerned about 2 and 4, just 1 and 3. And you will work on the vocabulary, the content vocabulary, and questions 1 through 5, on both, on 1 and 3. That basically gives you an outline of how the United States economy eventually turned into capitalist, and how this, particularly after the Civil War, remember that the Civil War had an economic component to it. It was the death of the agricultural economy and the rise of the industrial economy. Okay, so I want you to keep that in mind. All right, and basically reading lesson number 1 and reading lesson number 3 gives you a perspective on how that really played out. Okay, so I want you to do the vocabulary on reading lesson number 1, the vocabulary on reading lesson number 3, and questions 1 through 5 on both. You will once again answer in first person. I don't think you need to use the 10-sentence paragraph format for answering these questions. Maybe 5 sentences, excuse me. But just stick to the facts, but also first person. I will leave in the virtual classroom all the instructions that you need to follow. You need to identify your work. You need to work your answers in first person. Once again, maybe not in the 10-sentence format that I usually require, but maybe 5, but using the first person format, okay, that I've spoken to you about. Identify your work, and at the end, include your source, which is the online book that we always use. Okay? It's pretty simple. I want to keep it light this week because I do know that you guys are taking 4 exams. Some of you guys are taking 4 exams this particular week. So I want to keep it light and basically, just work on these vocabulary terms and these questions about, the U.S. economy, and emphasize, how it became a world superpower, economic superpower. Okay, so just guys, keep safe. I'll see you later, and God bless. God bless, man. Keep safe. Love you guys. All right, I got my music. I'll see you. What do I want to be?